Hey there, my name is John Kern. I'm with the Maryland Volunteer Lawyers Service, and we're doing a campaign to try to get as many folks across the state of Maryland, but a lot of folks here in Baltimore City, to do their estate planning. And I bring this up today because we have some programs. We've been hearing a lot of talk about people buying new homes in the city, which is a great thing. And I just want to make the connection for folks between new home buying and estate planning, which is that when you're buying a house, you're thinking about a whole lot of things, and it's really a move financially to plan for long-term goals. And part of long-term planning is thinking about how the assets that we have now may appreciate over time and how we can pass on those assets to our family. And we do that with estate planning. So home buying is really, really important. And here in Baltimore City, we have a big problem, which is that folks think that homes pass automatically to the next generation. And like a lot of things in the law, this is kind of halfway true. What really has to happen, because the devil's in the details. So what we have is we have a lot of multi-generational families living in homes, and the grandparents will pass away, and then the next generation will take over the home because it's the house they grew up in, and they'll pay the mortgage if there's still a mortgage, and they'll continue to pay the property taxes. But the problem is the deed of the property is actually not in their name. And having the deed in your name is what's really beneficial as a home buyer because that makes you legally the homeowner. So we have property tax credits in Baltimore City that will set your property taxes based on your income. We also have the homestead property tax credit. These are state programs, but they operate here in the city. And that actually, if your home appreciates in value over time, it sets the value of the home at a certain rate. So no matter how much your home is worth over time, you're still paying the same property taxes. All of these benefits would potentially pass on to the next generation with proper estate planning. So that the deed of the house is now in their name. And they can, for instance, take over if they want a home equity line of credit, for instance, which are great, very low interest type of loans to do home repair programs, to pay for school, things like that. There also are a bunch of different home repair programs around the city, but again, in order to access those programs, you've got to be on the deed to your property. So when you're buying a house, you're thinking about what you're doing, why it's important for your family in the immediate, but then also in the long term, you want to make sure that house passes on properly to your kids or whoever else you want to pass the home to. The last thing I'll say is that one of the mechanisms you can use to do this is called a life estate deed. And life estate deeds are so great because a lot of times folks will put their folks that they want the home to pass to right on the deed with them. And technically that will pass the home, but the catch is if someone's on the deed to your property with you and that person owes anybody any money for anything, then those debt collectors can come after your home. So we want to use what's called a life estate deed, which says it's your property now and you get to name someone that the house is going to pass to after you pass away. But in the meantime, it's not their house yet. So if they have any debt liability, it's not going to affect your home. Okay? So if you do a life estate deed now, you'll know that the future generations will be taken care of. They'll be able to access home benefits programs, property tax programs, home equity lines of credit, things like that. And then you'll be in a position for intergenerational wealth building, because that's really how wealth in the U.S. is built, is through our assets and primarily through real estate properties. So be thinking about it. It's a kindness to your family. It gets everybody on the same page. And so you're playing the long game not only for yourself, but for your family, for your neighbors, and your neighborhood and your community at large. So that's the connection between home buying and estate planning. If it's something you want to do, feel free after you finish all the home buying process, contact MVLS and we'll help you set up your estate plan.